I think there's a jog on there because I really think what he's looking at right now is getting the team set for June and July for qualifiers,
Hmm.
and I want to hope that's what he's thinking.
Yeah.
So I Yaldi, because I think that's what he came in talking about. I know it's what he came in talking about. And don't get me wrong, I would love to see Henderson and what's his name, the right back kid in there.
Yeah.
Uh, you know, uh,
Fisher.
Fisher. I'd love to see those guys get some time in there, and I mean, I would love to see it. I'd love to see that happen,
I think there's two
especially.
different things here where
And where's O'Connell? Why is Effie on the bench?
yeah, it's one of the things where I think it's this season it's less important than other years to bleed in youngsters on the basis that we're still trying to start out a new system.
Considering half the teams in the early 20s.
Yeah, exactly. However, I would like to see Henderson get a game towards the end of the season just to see what he's like. And also, if we just spoke about maybe potentially selling Matthews or not keeping him at the club, giving Darnell Fisher a wee run in the team wouldn't be too bad. But
Yeah, I
I
like
think
it.
at this point in time, I think we would have to be like 10 points to 12 points clear before you start even considering
Right.
bringing young players in because you wouldn't want something to go wrong and players to blame them. See, before we go any further though, you might
Yeah.
hear a strange one where obviously we had the recent Scotland games and stuff like that, and my mate's he does a bit of journalism where he doesn't write in the mainstream media, but he writes for Pie and Bovril, and he's actually a St Mirren fan. And not like Chick Young, I support St Mirren, but he's actually a Rangers fan. He's an out and out St Mirren fan. He's one of those guys that kind of turns his nose up at the old firm. Not particularly fond of them, not particularly old firm fans. I know old firm isn't a word that we like using, but they get tar and feathered with the rest of them. Yeah, he absolutely raved about Charlie Mulgrew's performances in centre midfield for Scotland. Absolutely raved about the guy, saying he was absolutely fantastic. He deserves the jersey, he deserved to be playing. When I was kind of questioning why Mulgrew was playing centre midfield for Scotland, it's strange where I kind of said sometimes when we as Celtic fans we're so close to it and we're so emotionally attached to it that we sometimes start making poor judgments about players on the basis that we have preconceived ideas about the way they're playing, etc., etc. And see, to be honest with you, I think he was probably right. I think Mulgrew did play very, very well in centre midfield for Scotland over the last couple of games, and I don't know, maybe we just don't give the guy enough credit. Maybe
I thought he played against England. I thought he played center half.
to play centre half there. I only seen the first part of the England game.
I
He
was.
played centre midfield
I
against
thought
Ireland.
He played against center. He played
He
center.
absolutely bossed it against Republic of Ireland, which was it was just strange because it was the first time I'd heard anybody be so incredibly positive about Mulgrew in about 2 years. He wasn't a Celtic fan. He's the guy
And,
that turns his
yeah.
nose up at
And
Celtic
the
most of the
sad
time.
part is he's the freaking player of the year from 2 years ago.
Yeah, so it'd be nice to see. I mean, maybe we're just expecting too much of the guy, or is it a case that we're just too down on him, or
I think that the problem is right now everyone's still hurting from the Warsaw debacle
yeah,
and the way he played in the midfield there,
I don't
which
know.
which is tough for him. I mean, it's unfair for him because he's not taking free kicks anymore. There's no reason for him to take free kicks anymore. That's A. B. I mean, he wasn't with Brown in the middle, and for those games, remember he had the hamstring tear. And then you look at the rest of what's going on with him. I mean, he's basically playing out of position. So when he was Player of the Year, I don't know.
All I'm saying
Different
is,
different setup. It's just a whole
yeah,
it's a whole different thing.
I don't know if we're maybe being too critical of the guy. Hopefully, this is a case where playing well for Scotland will inspire him a wee bit, and he'll bring that form back into Celtic and really kick on from there. Because if we could get him back to the form of him playing the way he was playing a couple of years ago, we'd have a
Yeah.
good player in our hand. I still think he's a wee bit too slow and doesn't cover enough ground for central midfield, but I don't know. Maybe he can change his game a little bit because I know that Stokes has changed his as well.
Hopefully.
All
So
right, you got
listen,
anything
we talked
else?
about Darnell Fisher. That brings me to top five, bottom five.
All right, let's do it.
Right, top five for me. Darnell Fisher played 90 minutes for the development team the other day. I know they lost against Motherwell, but he actually played. Thank
That's
God.
that's good.
I'm rubbing my rosary right now, and I am on it, and I'm hoping beyond all hope that he finds a way to put Ambrose sitting next to Dirk in the stands for the rest of the season. That's A. That's one. For me, that was the top one. Number two would have been Wakasa's goal against Ghana. It was an absolute bomb. Phenomenal. Number 3 was that Guidetti keeps scoring. That's the top 5 for me. Number 4 was the European Commission's comment about no state aid. But did you hear the comment that went with it? The city of Glasgow had to pay £280,000.
I heard 300 grand, so it's probably about that. Yeah.
Yeah, to respond to the allegations. Rangers fans are freaking idiots. And
there's a guy in Northern Ireland as well that started it, wasn't it?
Oh, it's fucking stupid. And that goes right along with this one. Did you see Bruni's T-shirt the other day?
What did it say?
It was that that T-shirt was the one with oh shit, what was it? It said the one with all the skulls was the old Rangers thing.
Was he wearing it?
No, well, you see, what happened was he had a shirt on. He was in a picture with some journalist, and it was him and Commons and Forrest and Mulgrew and the whole thing. And someone photoshopped the shirt, right, and put it on him, which doesn't surprise me for him. People believe I believe he would wear it if he had one, the Burton shirt, right? And then, would you believe that there were actually Rangers fans on Twitter saying he should be charged for the SFA for disrepute? That's how stupid these fucking people are.
There's no point in complaining how stupid Huns are. I mean, they're just
so that was number 4 for me.
Comprehension.
But the ultimate top, I have to read this to you. My top one, and I hate to pile on to FA, but I have to do this. Nigeria fans react to F.A. Ambrose's display against South Africa. Quote unquote, woeful, with an exclamation point. And here are the comments that they picked up from Twitter. Ready? This one guy, Everest, says, "I really hope F.A. Ambrose never plays for Nigeria again." Because they lost to South Africa and failed to qualify, by the way, for the African Cup of Nations.
Normally I'd be like, oh yes, that means that we don't lose Ambrose for January. But
unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. F.A. Ambrose is the problem. Next one is, they dude called F.A. Ambrose gave a good account of shame today.
Right. Dr. J, I think we need to,
where was F.A. Ambrose for the first goal? I can't believe how F.A. Ambrose is our first choice right back.
Right. Slagging Ambrose is becoming redundant. It's just a case of he's just pish. Right, I'll do my bottom 5 then, right?
That was my top 5. I'm sorry. F.A., if you're listening, you're my boy. I love you.
Bottom 5 is empty seats at Celtic Park, as normal. Ambrose, I'll put him in there since we're doing that. No major progress in bringing the youth players through. Scotland carry on with potential, abusive and sectarian behaviour coming from the Scotland fans. And number one bottom thing at the moment.
Why?
Number one.
Don't they realize? Don't they? Listen. All of my Celtic fans. All my Celtic friends in Port Glasgow. I know one who supports Scotland. Who the fuck were they cheering to? Who were they chanting to?
Can I just firstly, my bottom thing was Lustig being injured. So
yeah, I had that on.
If you want to know the Scotland carry on, I'm not defending this because my best and worst of the internet was the worst of the internet that I had was a comment I made. So I'm actually putting myself in the worst on the internet because I slagged off the England fans for making abusive and racist statements, and I was completely unaware of a section of the Scotland support making them. So I basically completely contradicted myself because not contradict myself, but I should have also targeted the Scotland fans because I had absolutely no idea that was going on. Jason Higgins, homeboys, got in touch and told me about it and said it was really, really bad, so I'll take his word for it. One thing I'll say is this, never ever justify racism. It's completely unacceptable. Racism or xenophobia or sectarianism, and it's just absolutely no place in football whatsoever. And the only thing worse than knuckle-dragging bigot with no brain cells coming out with that pish is the people with 2 brain cells that try and justify it. So there's absolutely no fucking excuse for that whatsoever. One thing I will say is, and I've been to pretty much every single Scotland game at home between 1993 to 2000 and about a year and a half ago, to be honest with you. I went to all the home games. I've still got Scotland tickets that other people use at home. It's one thing I'll just have to point out to everyone. Dr. J, what is the capacity of Celtic Park?
What was the what?
What's the capacity of Celtic Park?
62,000.
Okay, and how many people were at the Scotland-England game?
Just under 60,000.
Okay, and how many people were at the Scotland-Ireland game?
62,000.
Okay, Scotland. This is categorically true. Scotland do not have 60,000 fans that go to games regularly. They don't even have 50,000 fans. They don't even have 40,000 fans. The number of Scotland fans that consistently go to games is about 30,000 or 35,000 maximum. And whenever you see or hear a Scotland attendance announcement at Hampden, it's always fucking 10,000 more than it actually is. It is quite a small number of guys who go regularly to Scotland games. As a Scotland fan, you'll find that you go to the games and you're going to, Georgia at home and all that, and suddenly when Germany come to play, when Italy come to play, and when the top teams come to play, an extra 10,000 fans just appear from nowhere. An extra 15,000 fans come to nowhere. And I've never, ever, ever heard any sectarian abuse or any Scotland fan pinpoint Celtic players and boo them or any of that shite. Because it's been, people always say that, and I've always been at a loss, being like, I have never heard this, and I've gone to see Scotland at home and away over the course of a decade, and I've never heard it. And I always thought maybe it was something that went on in like 60s, 70s, which is before my time.
Hey, listen, even against Ireland the other day, they're all doing the Bruni after the goal.
Well, the thing is, right, I categorically know for a fact that Scotland supporters did abuse McGeady during that game, and there's absolutely no justifying that at all. It's fucking appalling. But what I'd say is that the guys that go to the games consistently probably wouldn't have done that. Out the guys that I know that do that. See this extra 20,000 fans that appear from nowhere when Ireland and England come to play. It'll be guys within that section. I don't know that for a fact, but I'm pretty positive it is.
That's your opinion.
That's my opinion. The highest and lowest point I've ever had as a Celtic fan came on the same day where Venegar of Hesselink got the last minute winner against the Huns, and we beat them 2-1. That was probably one of the high points as a Celtic supporter. One of the lowest points as a Celtic supporter was a supposed Celtic supporter on the way to a game make racist gestures to a couple of Pakistani guys who were walking past when we were walking to the game. And see, if you looked at this guy, you could tell he wasn't a Celtic supporter. The way he was acting, the way he was behaving, you knew he wasn't a Celtic supporter. But he had a Celtic strip on. But he's just one of those guys that's like, oh, Celtic Rangers game's on, I'm going to go along and make an arse myself. Right. You know what I mean? And jump on the bandwagon. That isn't a Celtic supporter. He is never a Celtic supporter in a million years. See these guys that are booing McGeady and all that? I don't think they're Scotland supporters. Were they wearing Scotland shirts and all that? Aye. There's no justifying it. It's absolutely fucking appalling behaviour. See all this focus abuse that goes on, focus video camera and fans. I hope they went into that Scotland end and fucking handcuffed those guys, and I bet they didn't.
That's not going to happen.
It's never going to happen.
I'll select the bullshit anyway.
But anyway, fucking appalling. So, like, any form of abuse, racist, xenophobic, or bigoted behaviour, is fucking appalling. No place in it. Anyway, moving on.
Right. So I got a couple for you. Ready? A couple of my bottom five. Round out five for me. You already hit on Lustig. That was my top one. My bottom one. Harry Redknapp talking about Scottish football dropped off the map after Rangers went tits up. I mean, come on.
Did you hear my fact about Harry Redknapp?
It's what he said.
It probably did, in his opinion. But here's honest fact, right? I've got a mate who works at Sky Sports who supports Liverpool. He's from Northern Ireland.
So who got absolutely pumped today, by the way.
Yeah.
And who had the goal?
Ledley, isn't
it? Who, by the way, I take him back, but he needs to shave that fucking thing off his face. Oh my God. What is that thing on his face?
Anyway, just a quick point on Harry Redknapp. My mate who works at Sky Sports, frequently in contact with Harry Redknapp. And he's a Liverpool supporter, so he has absolutely no need to say this at all. And he said, he was talking to me about Celtic one time, and he goes, see Harry Redknapp, see the way he talks about Celtic, you'd think he's a Celtic supporter. He's got an absolute boner for Celtic and all things Celtic. He's really knowledgeable and always bangs on about Celtic and the way Celtic play. So there you go. Just a real random fact about Harry Redknapp. My mate who's a Liverpool fan thinks he's a closet Celtic fan, so there you go.
Well, good. Then he should be excited today that Ledley scored against Liverpool, so fuck him.
What was the final score in the Liverpool game?
3-1.
There you go. Fuck them.
Anyway. All right, so that leads me to another issue that's going on down in England for my bottom five.
What?
And that was how much we missed a bullet by hiring...
Mackay?
No, by hiring Ronnie, because Roy Keane went all red mist on someone the other day. And then the whole thing with Wayland and Malky Mackay. Gee, what is wrong with these people? Roy Keane, the people who call that Roy Keane for being an absolute ass, called that one.